The Sith Order has been a blight on the galaxy for many generations since their rise after the Second Great Schism. After this, the Sith would continue to rise and bring war to the Jedi in their insatiable lust to rule. For almost 7,000 years, these Darksiders were the usual go-to enemy of the Jedi and the galaxy as a whole. However, the Sith weren't always the main adversary of the Holy Order of the Jedi Knights. Back many tens of thousands of years before the Sith, this title belonged to another people, the Infinite Empire, also known as the Rakata. Any of you who have played Knights of the Old Republic will be most familiar with the Rakatans, as they played the titular role in the story events of the game as the main antagonist. The Rakatan Empire had immense power and influence in the galaxy in the years prior to the formation of the Galactic Republic, and the Rakatan people are even partially responsible for a great deal of technological advancements in the galaxy for most worlds, and can technically be cited for the foundation of the Republic itself. But who are the Rakatans? How did this power-hungry race of Force sensitives build the very foundations of the galactic society that we know, and then became lost to history? Well, stick with us today, curious travelers of the galaxy, as we crack open the oldest of holocrons and discover who were the Rakatans, the dark side wielders, before even the Sith. Our story begins before 36,000 BBY, when the mysterious race known as the Celestials were the ruling superpower over the galaxy. Not a lot of information is known about this period of time or the Celestial race as a whole. However, it has been noted that the ones of Mortis were in some way related to the Celestials. Anyway, the Rakatans were a race of powerful Force sensitives that were mostly aligned with the dark side. They were invited to join in the collection of slave races owned by the Celestials, who were currently building a great many technological marvels all throughout the galaxy, and mainly in the unknown regions of space. The Rakatans joined and began constructing fearsome feats of technology that fed upon the very Force itself in order to power their terrifying machines. The Rakatans built the very first hyperdrives, and as many know, were the architects of the Starforge. It was soon discovered by the Qua, another slave race of Celestials, what the Rakatans were really up to, and their plan to dominate the entire galaxy. What the Celestials and the Qua didn't know though, was that the Rakatans were a violent, cannibalistic people that had a hierarchy that was solely relied around conniving and betrayal in order to rise to power. A system that the Sith people would later emulate. The Rakatans, though, were the first, as they began to conquer a great many systems in the unknown regions of space beyond the Celestial reach. Soon, a war broke out as the Rakatans declared succession from the Celestials and began to rebel against them. How the Rakatans rose to such power and what happened to the Celestials, though, has been completely lost to history. But some researchers credit the great hyperspace barrier that surrounds the unknown regions to the Celestials, who tried to keep the Rakatans contained before the Celestials inexplicably disappeared. Some have even speculated that it was this war that destroyed both of their races. With no higher force to challenge them, the Rakatans built the Infinite Empire and the most powerful and fearsome race in the galaxy. All of their technology was completely powered by the dark side directly, and they set up a way of life that would secure their infinite rule. They would seek out planets rich with nutrients and with the Force, and conquer them, either enslaving or eating the resident species. They had warriors that they called Force Hounds, who were taught to use the dark side of the Force and seek out these planets. They wielded the very first lightsabers ever seen in the galaxy, then known as Force Sabers. These primordial lightsabers had no ignition switch or anything on its long metal hilt. The Force Sabers could only be ignited when the wielder channeled the dark side through the blade. As impressive as this is, compared to other technology the Rakatans had at the time, they regarded Force Sabers as a slave's weapon, since only their Force Hound slaves ever used them. The Infinite Empire dominated known space for thousands of years. Many of the most prominent worlds of the galaxy were included in this empire. However, their hyperdrives could only visit worlds possessing strong Force signatures, resulting in huge voids between their conquered planets. Among its conquests were the Selekath of Manaan, Wookiees of Kashyyyk, Kumaga of Tatooine, Nagwari of Hongar, humans of Coruscant, and the natives of the Corellian sector. By transporting these slave species to new worlds, the Rakata were believed to have inadvertently seeded a vast portion of the galaxy with sentient life. During this great period of expansion, the Rakata encountered the Sith species of Korriban. At first, the Rakata were wary, and they pretended to ally themselves with the Sith warrior at the time by the name of King Adis, going as far as to show him how to construct the pyramidal Sith holocron. In time, King Adis learned of these invaders and learned of their true purpose of conquest. Unifying the Sith, King Adis led a revolt against the Rakata invaders and subsequently acquired their technology as well as that of the holocron. When the two species went to war, King Adis managed to lead the Sith to victory and drive the Rakata from Korriban. The actions of the Infinite Empire led to the Sith purebloods truly embracing the dark side, as this is the moment where the Sith fully embraced the darkness for the first time. Soon following this, the Infinite Empire of the Rakata would encounter the Jedi Order on Tython, lusting after the Force-rich planet for their own, and deeply desiring to make the Jedi their slaves. They were bent on conquering the world. Little did they know exactly what they were getting into though. Heavily underestimating the Jedi, the Rakatan Empire faced their first truly indomitable foe. Matters worsened for the Rakata Empire when one of their most renowned Force Hounds, named Kesh, was found and turned to the light by the Jedi, as well as found his Force Saber. The Jedi managed to mass produce the weapon, and they were all outfitted with this dark side tool. The Jedi would beat back the Rakatans as they were forced to retreat. About another 10,000 years passed. The cracks in the Empire were beginning to show within the Rakatan race. Many other species had begun to develop their own unstable hyperdrive technology, and the revolts to the Rakatan masters had fully begun. Because of the large gaps in the Empire, the worlds were able to aid each other and wage a successful war. Right as the Empire was weakened by this war, a strange illness began to spread amongst the Rakatan people. It was later theorized that the disease was created by a slave species because it had only infected the builders themselves. The plague nearly exterminated the entire Rakatan race and brought the Infinite Empire to its knees. Yet the worst was still to come. The Rakata suddenly and inexplicably began to lose their connection to the Force. Worse, they were unable to uncover the source of their failing sensitivity, many theorizing that the Force itself abandoned them. Rakatan scientists came up with numerous speculative hypotheses to explain their worsening condition, but in the end, all of their guesses were proven incorrect. In time, it would be revealed that a mysterious mutation in the plague has caused it to strip the builders of their power, and the Rakatans were now unable to touch the Force entirely. After the devastation of the Rakatan Empire, all of their leftover technology was left scattered on the worlds they had once conquered. All these worlds picked up the pieces, and by repurposing the Rakatan machinery, were able to create reliable hyperdrive technology and interstellar flight, as well as hologram technology and much more. This laid the foundation for the formation of the First Galactic Republic some 500 years later in 25,000 BBY. For a long time, the Rakatans were thought completely extinct, until Revan and Malak would go down to the rabbit trail and find the star maps which led them to the Starforge, encountering the last remaining sect of the Rakatans left on the planet near the Starforge system. Although savage, evil, cannibalistic, and immeasurably cruel, the Rakatan Empire was the very building block to the entire galaxy, the Jedi, and even the Sith that we know today. And perhaps it is the Rakatans that are the true enemies of the Star Wars galaxy, and the true greatest foe that the galaxy has ever seen. But anyway, my friends, and students of the Force, what are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on the Rakatan Empire? And in your opinion, are they the true great enemy of the Jedi and the Sith and the entire galaxy that we know and love? As always, my friends, thank you guys so much for watching and continuing to support the channel. May the Force be with you, and have a great day.